Right, hi guys again. Story number 2. These things seem to be happening to us. Right, we got a call from our management again, and they said, do you want to go to Germany to be on a special guest on a program called Super Talent? So we thought, yeah, no problem, do you know what I mean, it's fine. And she obviously said that, you know, you're going to get paid for it, it's quite good money, which doesn't really matter, but I just want you to understand we did get paid for it, right? Anyway, so we were in the middle of doing our bits and pieces, and they managed to get us out there and back in the same day. So they booked the flights, and me and Laggy got our cases together. We were performing the night before, and then we were performing the next day. So after this special spot on the show. Anyway, arranged everything, gave me the itinerary, read on the itinerary, going to be picked up from the airport, you're going to go to the show, and then you're going to do the show. So I said, okay, no problem. We got to the airport, got on the plane, got over the other side, and there's this big sign on the other side, Stavros Flatley. We landed in Berlin, and big sign on the other side, Stavros Flatley. So we got into the car, went to the TV studio. As we got to the TV studio, the guy said something to me in German, and I said, look, I'm sorry, I don't understand. He said, you go there. So he pointed in this direction we should go, and we could see all, like where the cameras were and all that. So he dropped us outside the street, basically. Anyway, we got our case, walked to the side of the street. As we got to the front entrance, I said, hi, my name's Dimitri. The woman didn't speak English. Or she spoke English, but really broken English. I said, we're here for Super Talent. So I showed her on my phone the woman that we were meant to meet, and she said, no, she's not here, she's not here. I said, well, where is she? She said, Poland. So I said, okay. So I said, can I speak to somebody else? She said, no, you sign. So I looked around, and there's all these people going, and it looked familiar. It was like like Britain's Got Talent, where people queue up and then you sign a document. Anyway, so I said, no, we're here. No, you sign. So I signed, right? So I ran down and I signed. Anyway, I said, can I speak to somebody? She said, so this lady came, and I said, look, I think somebody's made a mistake here. We're meant to be special guests. I suppose we're meant to be special guests because you've paid us to come out here. And she said, no, everything's, you're going to go onto the show, everything's fine. I said, all right. So she said, well, follow me, and I'll find somebody like the producer to come and talk to you. So I said, okay. So we went, me and Laggy, like, we were a bit tired, and we went into this massive room, and we're sitting there, and then again, there's people in there doing all these bits and pieces. There was two ladies with these handkerchiefs, which I'll put on the video so you can see what they were doing. And it just brought back floods of memories about being on Britain's Got Talent. But I just thought maybe they're just keeping us there until somebody who speaks good English is going to come and see us. Anyway, waiting. No one comes. I got up again. I said, look, I need to know what's going on, because obviously nobody's talking to me. She said, look, don't get upset. I said, I'm not getting upset. I just want to know. Seems to get a lot upset. I just want to know what's going on. Somebody needs to come and see us. And she said, okay. So they called the producer. The producer came down, and he said, oh, welcome. We've seen your tape, blah, blah, blah. I said, fine, thank you very much. What time are we on your show? He said, she said, about 2 till 3 until the other contestants. I said, okay, so, you know, what do you want us to do? She said, we want you to do your first audition. Okay, that's fine. That's what we do anyway, blah, blah, blah. And then she went, everything will be fine. The judges will talk to us. I said, what do you mean the judges? I said, why would they want to talk to us? We're only special guests. She said, no. We want you to enter the competition. I went, no, you've got it wrong. Why are we entering the competition? We've already entered Britain's Got Talent. We don't want to enter another competition. We're here as special guests. She goes, no. I said, well, we must be, because you've paid us to come over. She goes, no, that's got nothing to do with it. We want you to enter the competition. So Laggy's panicking a bit now, and I said to him, Laggy, what do you want to do? I said, if we turn around and we walk out now, you know what I mean, it's bad, it's not good. And And he said, yeah, but we don't really want to enter another talent show. I said, I know, but what do, you know what I mean? So I rang my wife. Karen said, look, you're there now. I said, but what if they buzz us out? How bad is that going to be? And what if people look back home and say, well, why are they going on other talent shows? I swear to you, we thought we were going as special guests. Anyway, like we decided, we sat and talked about it with Laggy, and I said, look, maybe we should have a look and do it. Anyway, we went for it. we sat there, we waited, and then we got called through exactly the same as Britain's Got Talent. We went out on stage. The geezer actually asked me if this was my brother this time, which is a bit upsetting for Laggy, but me, that's pretty cool. And then we just did the dance, and believe it or not, went through to the semi-finals of a programme that's just the same as Britain's Got Talent, with 3 buzzers, called Super Talent. So I don't know if we're going to go back. I haven't got a clue, but that's what's happened. So, ladies and gentlemen, Stavros Flatley is now in the semi-finals of Germany's Got Talent, and it was by pure accident. So let's see how far we get. Thank you very much.